Live with Miami's Community News, and I'm Michael Miller, and our guest today is Rafael Albo from Oceanfront Realty. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you very much, Michael. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
So you're quite a sophisticated gentleman. How did you take your sophistication and your intelligence and decided that you wanted to be in the real estate people, helping people find whether it's a residential property that they wanted to live in, or as an investment or commercial property? What caused you to make that change?
Number one, and thank you for asking this, the interaction with the people. I love interacting with people. And number two, I like properties, and I love the Miami style. And the two combined took me into thinking of leaving my previous marketing job, which I created for a company, international company before, and make the change that will never regret it.
In Miami, there are people that live in the suburbs, and one of those people really don't go very much to downtown or to East Coral Gables or to Aventura or to Sunny Isles or parts of Hollywood now, and North Miami Beach is going to have some of those. We have a lot, and downtown, of course, we have a lot of very sophisticated areas, and people from all over the world are moving here. Why Miami? Why do they want to come to Miami?
In my opinion, Miami is the perfect place, located where it has to be. You are close to South America, close to Europe, close to everywhere in the world that matters. And Miami is within the United States of America. And Miami has its own style that attracts people.
You know, it's interesting because I use AI frequently, and it's a great learning experience because when you put in information, you get information back. And so frequently I'll say, write this letter and make it Miami style.
Miami
That's what
style.
they do. And it's like, holy moly. And I read it, it's like home base. It's like perfect, all right? And so there is something about Miami. And I've been around for a long time. And we've seen the growth and the sophistication that has come in. And we've been here for a while. We saw South Beach turn from old people sitting out there to really significant events are happening on Miami Beach and throughout Dade and Broward County. We understand we are the gateway to just about everywhere. And if you say Miami, for the most part, throughout the world, people are going to know exactly what that is. And to come here to the wonderful state with 22 million people, and Miami general area continues to grow. So when people contact you, what type of properties are they looking for?
Most of them oceanfront. They love the color of the ocean, the blue skies, the palm trees, and the smiles on the people's face. I recently was in France and Dubai, and the moment you meet people and you tell them you are from Miami, they want to be with you, they champion, they want to be friends and stay connected with you right away. They tell other people that you're coming from Miami, and more people come to meet you.
And it's an interesting thing because if you said you were from Orlando 300 miles away or 350 miles away, or you said you were from Tampa, it wouldn't have that effect. When we say the word Miami, that's it.
Definitely.
And so somebody, they call you up or you visit with them. And what does that look like as far as showing them properties? What's that process, Rafael?
The majority, the 90% of the people I deal with, they live in other cities or other countries. And so first there's a process of educational process. You take them on your car or sometimes on a helicopter. You show them around and you explain the different areas within Miami. Once they are educated and you express your opinion about each area, they will select the area they want. And from then, you go into the properties. The waterfront properties in Miami are the big time preferred ones.
So there's the old saying, location, location, location. So that's what it's about.
Location and views.
So for us average folks, property insurance is an issue. For your type of clients, is that even a conversation?
The ones who buy houses.
Yes.
Yes. But these people don't care about the insurance, or the majority of deals are done cash, not financed in my line of work. And they are happy with the property in Miami. In many instances, they only get the property to show their friends somewhere else. Look, I have a penthouse in Miami.
Well, why not?
And they come here and they enjoy the Miami style life.
So I have a friend who owns some condos in Colombia, which used to be the hellhole of the world, and now has certainly climbed a lot. He did that. He just showed me his apartment that he has there. Look, Michael, and it was beautiful. Right? I don't know how often he goes, but he wanted me to know. Perfect. It was like I almost want to ask him, "Give me the key. I'm going." So I get that. So are there some areas on waterfront properties that are a little bit more in demand than others in the area that you service?
Indeed. And the reason why I operate in this area is called Sunny Isles Beach. The combination of safety and beauty and what's to offer in terms of walking to places. It's important to them to be able to be near restaurants and shops and walking and interacting with the people.
My son, who used to live on Miami Beach, said, "Come on over, Dad, I want to show you around." And everybody seemed like they were on vacation. And maybe they were. Whether it was in Sunny Isles or Miami Beach, certainly the lifestyle is different. We had an occasion to go for brunch downtown, not in Wynwood, but downtown area. Every type of mobility, how people got around, was there. Small buses, scooters, baby things, and lots of people enjoying themselves. And it was around 10 o'clock in the morning. I realized a lot of people hadn't been home yet, right? And I'm looking around and said, "Look at these girls. They're all dressed from last night," right? And certainly there's the lifestyle on the east side. It's way different than us folks that live on the west side. So what's it like for you when you go out there? And people seem to be in a good mood all the time, I'm sure. What's it like for you as far as your spirit?
What I say to the people when I'm traveling, they ask me the same question. What is it like your life in Miami? And I say, you live on vacations. You work on a place you love. I've been here for over 24 years, and I still take pictures from everywhere. Wynwood, Miami Beach. Everywhere I go, I look like a tourist. I'm still taking pictures. You love this place. You enjoy the life in here.
So family member lives in the Gables on the waterway. So my grandson, about this big, they go out on the boat, and my grandson's got his hat on and his glasses along, driving on. And I say, "Hey, Benjamin, what'd you do today?" "I was driving a boat." And it was like, okay. And then he goes back playing with the toys, but doing the videos all the time out on the water, which are used in his father's business as far as the photographs and videos. Here we are. Also, somebody I know was out on a friend's mega yacht, and so they put the kids in the water on little surfboards with battery-operated motors. They were going around the yacht, and the father had the drone going around, following around. All fun stuff. And so how do you, when these people contact you, how do they wind up finding you? What causes them to reach out to you?
The marketing. That's my background, marketing, and showing yourself in the right location, and especially one thing sells alone: the color of the water, the blue sky, the Miami style. Everyone in the world, they're working on the snow outside, and they see this, and it's irresistible for them.
Another family member lives right off of Biscayne, corner unit, looks right into the water, sees the basketball arena, the boats, and the art center, 21st floor, glass from here to there.
Yes.
It's gorgeous. And at night, it's wild. Every color of the world is there. And to your point, it's so significant. And if you have the money to be able to do that, it's an experience that is just unbelievable. And so lots of Miamians want that. Lots of people outside of Miami are coming here and moving here. So let's talk about occupancy in owned apartments in Sunny Isles or maybe downtown. Years ago, during the summer, there would be no lights on. People were not there. What's it look like now at night? Are those mostly occupied?
Well, 90% of the people who buy properties on the ocean, most likely in Sunny Isles Beach and in Miami Beach as well, occupy the properties an average 2.5 weeks. a year. However, they're all of them pushing to come more and more and more often. And once they do, they become happy people. I have doctors that tried to come live. They bought me, I found them an apartment back in 2007, 2008, and they spent all their lives telling me, I need to delegate my job. I want to live in there. But once they do, there's a transformation in their lives.
So, and lots of people in many parts of Dade County complain about the traffic, but if you live on Sunny Isles, you do a lot of walking. You come down out of your apartment and you walk to the places that you want. It's just the way that it is, all right? And it's not that's not going to change. Well, what happens is you sort of get used to it. You spend the weekend there, and there's all the stores that you want to go to, right? Very sophisticated. There's some of the big hotels down there are top end things. I went to one of them recently, and I was in a brand new car, but the Rolls Royces and the Mercedes and McLarens and all that stuff were out front. The big Mercedes. Excuse me, I know you'll have to park me way over there. They can put like 6 of mine to the one over there. But it's made for that. That's the club they want to be in. And that's perfect because we do that our entire lives. What club do we want to be in? What tribe do we want to be in? So what's the range of housing on, let's say in Sunny Isles for, let's say, a 3-bedroom condo they're not skyscrapers, but in a 50-story building? What's the range of pricing down there so people can understand a little bit more in case they haven't seen prices recently?
Well, the 3 bedrooms at this point on the beach, not under $2 million. The 3 bedrooms are costly. The 2 bedrooms starting at $1 million right now. As you know, the number of sales in these areas have decreased 40, 50% to 1-2 years ago. But the prices did not go down. Prices continue to go up.
And then an interesting thing that's happened, and that's the market that says, okay, I'm not selling, but if I do, this is going to be the price because I need to move someplace else. And when depending on where you're at with that, people say, well, if the interest rates go down, this is going to go up, but it's always a balance. You've been doing this now full time for how long?
Since 2007.
Right. So you've seen these cycles. Right?
Yes.
Up, down, around, the same, high interest rates, low interest rates. It's just the way that it is, right? And at some point, things will be different, whatever different would happen to be that way. Do your clients, when they come here, when they fly in, do they bring vehicles with them?
No, they don't.
And they leave the cars where maybe one of
They
their
buy
other
it in
houses?
here. They buy it in here and they leave it in the garage.
Excuse me.
Expensive vehicles.
Of course. Some of those condos down there, they have, some of them bring the car to their level, right?
Yes.
That it's mind-boggling if you haven't seen it before. But it's like in your garage on your floor. Who are some of the big builders down there, the names we would recognize?
Eli Klinger, Gil Deser,
Yep.
Mr. Perez.
Years ago, I was at Steezer, the senior's office. He had the back of a Cadillac as his desk.
Yes.
I couldn't stop laughing. And it's like, he's just as real as you can be. This level of affluence is there, and most people would have some other desk, but it was a late 50s or early 60s Cadillac, right?
Yes.
And he's sitting there, and I know people when they walk in, they must go, what is this? And it's like, and he was talking about some well-to-do people going to the different weddings. But honest to God, he's there. His son seems to be doing a wonderful job. They have a huge collection of cars for people to be able to go see. So what is the next area of growth on that type of development on the border? Where is that going to be?
Well, it has started already in Fort Lauderdale. It started 2-3 years ago strongly, and Pompano Beach is coming out very, very strong.
It's amazing.
As well.
And typically that's what happens, right? It's a core, and then it keeps going out and farther. And each of those areas in and themselves are going to have, I don't know, similar but products like that. They're going to be on the waterfront. They're going to be exclusive, priced appropriately. So when people want to be in the club, all right, they know where to go. I know that rich people want to buy rich stuff, right? A lot do. They want to wear those clothes. They want to have that stuff. They want to have a happy family. So, and on to the people that hire you to go to work for them to find a home or property they want. Tell me what type of, what do they typically have done in order to get that money? Were they doctors or lawyers, candlestick makers? What type of work did they do, or maybe still do?
No, indeed. My clients, the biggest clients, the $100 million construction in Europe, a friend of mine who he built the headquarters for NATO in Brussels, among so many other constructions of this caliber. Doctors, physics, who invented a special kind of laser, and sold his company in over $10 million. So professionals and fewer businessmen.
So they call you on the phone or they email you and they say, I'm looking for a place down in Miami, all right? Find me something. And what kind of questions do you ask them when they give you this broad general statement?
I usually do a verbal and written questionnaire, written at the time to go for the property. What is more valuable for you? The location, the view, the size of the property, or the amenities in the building. These are important. Would you like walk into places, or you prefer to be isolated?
All pertinent questions so that you can bring forth the properties that they like.
Yes.
And if they say, I want to be on the penthouse, or I want to be above 20 stories, do you have people that tell you, I want to be 10 stories up or 15 stories up? They volunteer that.
Yes, they do. And a fewer of them, there's a niche for these, like lower properties. But that's the much fewer of them. Everyone wants to be the highest, the better. And then there's the niche for the penthouse as well.
And that seems to be, when I look at some of the buildings downtown, I say, why would I be on the second floor or the third floor? What's the purpose of that? And some people don't care, all right? But when you can get used to having this wide range of views, it certainly is impressive. Have you had apartments where it's been a 360-degree view?
Yes, at the Regalia in Sunny Isles Beach, at the end of Sunny Isles Beach.
Just for clarity, so in their apartment, you can look every direction.
It's a one condo per floor.
So you walk in and there's everything. Just walk, you can see along in each direction.
Yes, 360-degree views. I personally like the views. It comes from my mother, and it's the first thing I ask the person: do the view matter to you? The majority of them they do, but not all of them. Like I said, some don't care about the view, but those are the fewer.
So for your clients, do they have children if they're going to move here? Do they have children with them? Are they going to move? And if they do, what's the age group, more or less?
Yes, they do, from the 20s to the 40s.
But not little kids.
No, not little kids. Most of them, no.
Yeah. So here we
these
are.
people spend their life building something,
Yes.
making this amount of money.
Yes. Tell us about the restaurants that are available to people that move into Sunny Isles. What's the type of restaurants that are there?
Restaurants on the water, restaurants. There are plenty of restaurants, dozens of restaurants.
And they have plenty that you could go eat on the water if you wanted to, or if you wanted to look at the bay on the other side, you could go over there.
In Sunny Isles, there are fewer on the water, but there are between 5 and 10.
So when you show people Sunny Isles and you say, and the Aventura Mall is just over the causeway, do they like that so they can go in and spend an afternoon there?
They do, and they go a lot to the Aventura Mall.
Yes.
Yes.
Because that's really the shopping sort of area that's there. A couple of years ago, I saw the mall up there. They were adding something. That's bigger than most of the mall. Just the addition was bigger than most of the malls were. And when we see that part of Miami-Dade County really attracting a huge amount of wealth, it reminded me when they first started, where there's this place called Aventura, and I go, what's wrong with North Miami Beach? And they got Sophia Loren to be a promoter of Aventura, and then it just caught on. And the properties in Sunny Isles and in Aventura are so well maintained. It's just incredible. It's a level of sophistication that you expect when people have that kind of money and they want to do that. And if you're ever looking for a fancy car, I can tell you what hotels to go to or the shopping mall and look around. And it's really a huge, huge difference. So do you handle commercial property for people?
A few times, yes.
And what type of properties would somebody look for, commercial properties?
Buildings, to turn them into apartment buildings.
So it may not be, it's not an apartment building now, but it's a commercial property. So we wanted to either turn the building or tear it down and put up apartments.
Yes, especially the apartments, the rental community.
And speaking about rents, do you ever handle rentals, long-term rentals for people, or are you just aware of some of the rents might be from like one of those units that's owned by somebody else and somebody wanted to rent it for 2 or 3 months? What's the price range to rent something like that for a couple months?
2-3 months on the beach, depending on the season. In low season, right now the prices have decreased big time for first time in 12 years. So if you would like right now, the present time prices, you can get a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment on the beach in a luxury building for as low as $5,000 per month, plus tax.
Yes. So certainly reasonable. It's compared to a few years ago was significantly more. So this is a good time for people to go, let's go over there. All right, it'll be a home away from home for a little bit. So if somebody wants to find out more about you, is there a website or Instagram handle they could go to?
Nowadays, the situation has changed and Instagram is taking over.
Yes.
Yes, you can find me at Rafael Albo on Instagram, and you will see what I do, what I sell, and what I offer to the people, which is always based on this number one. The reason I moved to Sunny Isles Beach, what you offer the most is confidence. Why? Because your client will not live in here. He will depend on you when he's out. And I do not charge for that management. I do it with pleasure, and this made me great friends all over the world.
So they can call you up and go, listen, Rafael, we're not there. Can you go check on whatever it happens to be?
Exactly. And people appreciate this from you. And my closest friends today's days, they came as a client one time to buy a property in Miami. And I took care for years. Some of them 13 years, some 10 years, some 7 years.
Yeah, some people, you say, well, it's good service. No, it's the way you should do it. Not like just sell it and then ignore them, right? Because you want to thank them, and it's the way that we live our lives to be able to help somebody move along, and they have confidence. We're going to call Rafael down there in Miami. Can you handle this problem? So we're going to wrap up in just a couple of minutes, but tell us a little bit more about how you found your Instagram guy who does your Instagram stuff. Tell us how you found him.
First of all, someone opened my eyes, a marketing person, and I inquired into my friends who knows. First, I like to ask my closest people for this kind of situation, and who knows anyone who does this. And I was introduced to the exact right person, who is an Instagram expert, and he's also an artist. He's a very popular DJ in Miami, DJ Kauru. And I end up meeting not only the expert that I needed, but the human being that I would like to deal with and make friends with.
So typically people that are more or less our age, right, are pretty hesitant to make sort of changes to something. Now, Instagram's been around for many years, but
Yes.
to get into that. But you saw the importance of doing. What is it that changed your mind to say, I need to start doing that? What triggered in your brain to do that?
once they opened my eyes, I'm a marketing guy, and I saw it. I saw the reach, the exposure. It's monumental. And you can also show your style and confidence through what you post and how you post and what you say.
Certainly, Facebook has changed the world, and as far as us being able to pay attention to things, if you get somebody look at it for 3 seconds, you're lucky. I saw TV commercials for 5 seconds. 5 seconds.
Yes.
40 years ago, they were 30 seconds, sometimes a minute, all right? Then there were 15 seconds, and now 15 seconds is like normal, and it's a roofing company. That's how the commercial goes. Evans Roofing, Evans Roofing. That's the commercial. That's the one I remember. And that's the amazing part of Instagram, to be able to have enough action in there, to have attractive people doing something in a short period of time so people can decide whether or not to stay. And you're confident that your clients or your prospects, they're looking at Instagram because you know that that
Yes.
works.
And they don't check you out. Up to 5-10 years ago, they would hear from you and they would Google you. Not anymore.
Another way.
They go Instagram looking for
Yes.
you. And that's
And
the
says
big change.
Yes, and that says a lot about the Instagram person who does it, that I'm able to connect with you in ways and meet you where you want to be met. And if you're not meeting them over here, it's like joining a club. If you're not meeting the people over there, get a club that can meet the people that you want. And certainly that is one of the ways to be able to reach people in an attractive way, in an instant connection. And people also recognize it as a way to reach people that are connected. And we
Yes.
see that all the time, right? And frequently we'll talk to advertisers, well, tell us what you're doing digitally or social media. And when they tell me the things they're not doing, I'm going, we can't help you. I said, because this is how we're connecting people, right? Because if you can't answer their questions, if you can't be where they are, how are they going to get confidence in you? So congratulations on doing that and having Instagram posts that are interesting, and you have an expert that is
Thank you.
that is there doing their best so that you can be successful and reach those people that for the most part you wouldn't be able to reach anywhere else. So maybe one day you'll be on TikTok as well. So maybe your guy, if he happens to be hearing me, he might go TikTok, right? Think about it. 5 years ago, no TikTok, right? I don't know when Instagram was started. I don't know, 10 or 15 years ago, there wasn't Instagram. There's always stuff that's out there that attracts people. Are you doing anything with artificial intelligence? You working that at all?
Yes, fewer times. Documents that you need to write, but then what you write, it also says a lot about you. And there's nothing like the personal touch on a letter.
100%. We use it to get our brains going. All right? Oh, yeah, what about this? What about that? Here's some ideas that you might have thought about. Maybe not. We did a show with a veterinarian who was doing vasectomies on peacocks.
Whoa.
Peacocks, yes. So I wrote, I'm doing an interview with the veterinarian doing peacock. What questions should I ask him? 15 questions that I would never have thought about, ever. And it was amazing. He kept looking at me. I said, no, I got it off AI. But what's important is the person that puts in the question, all right? And when you put that in, right, you'll be able to get back the information that you're looking for. I know that's going to be a big part of our lives, all right? And it's a big part of a lot of people's lives. I know it's going to be more and more and more. If people thought that the internet was something, we didn't know 30 years ago what the internet was going to be. We know what AI is going to be. It's going to be this monstrous thing where people are going to use it as a reference point. Before, they used to maybe go to Google and look it up, or they would go on Wikipedia and look it up. And at some point, we're going to be using that more and more. We see media does that all the time. Mm-hmm. The big question at hand is, can you make it yours? So when people talk to you and deal with you, they're going to know that you are real. And so we use it as a source of
course,
questions about how to move forward. So here we are again in almost October 2024. Tell us where you're going to be in 5 years. What does real estate look like in 5 years in the area that you are? And we're going to wrap up right after that.
I will continue promoting Miami, continue the ocean, and extending my network in my real estate company further north.
That's wonderful. Rafael, thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure, Michael.
Thank you very much for being here. And in case your Instagram guy is listening, all right, good for him and good for you.
Thank you very much.
Folks, thank you very much for joining us. And Alex,